On Friday, news dropped that the super team, the Doom Patrol, is coming to the Titans live action TV show that debuts sometime later this year on DC's digital only service, which is awesome. Geoff Johns, like the chief creative officer at DC, who is tasked, or part of his job is, overseeing development and the creation of a lot of DC characters in TV shows. He sent a tweet out, I think on Friday, that said the Titans are getting some company, and he attached a photo of the first page of his script for episode 5 of the Titans TV series, and the title was Doom Patrol. And I know exactly why they're in there, because in the comics, the Doom Patrol are part of Beast Boy's origin. But before I get to that, I'll explain a little bit about who they are, but I have to back up and talk about the Doom Patrol in the beginning. And they're one of DC's lesser-known super teams, but they've been around for a long time. They're just as old, I think, as like the X-Men and the Avengers, but they never became like as popular. They've had some really like successful celebrated runs. Like a lot of people really like the old classic 60s versions of the characters, but also Grant Morrison, I think, wrote them for a bit in the 80s and early 90s or something like that. When he first came to DC, Grant Morrison is a really famous comic book writer, at least in comic book circles. And the Doom Patrol is about, like most long-time super teams, there's been different eras or versions of the team, but for the most part, the Doom Patrol is associated with being about the weird and sometimes surreal and disturbing aspect of being a superhero. Having superpowers, the strange things that can do to your life, and sometimes the negative things that can come to your life. Like the 3 original members were people who, were going about their lives and they got their superpowers, but the superpowers, the way they got them and the kind of superpowers they had, it messed up their lives and, their careers. Robot Man is Cliff Steele. He was a race car driver, and he got into an accident that destroyed his entire body, and his brain was put into the body of a robot. That's why he's called Robot Man, but that changed his life, forever. Some would say for the worse, because he wasn't in a physical body anymore. Negative Man, Larry Trainer, was a pilot who was in an accident, and he got like cosmic, or I don't know, I forget the energy, but it turned his body radioactive so he could never touch anybody else. And he has to send like this negative energy version of himself flying out. And, he had to be wrapped in bandages originally, and people around him had to worry about being hurt if he didn't take his bandages off. So his life was severely impeded too. And Rita Farr, Elasti-Girl, she was a successful actress who got powers to, I think originally all she could do was she could stretch herself really big, like a giant, or really small. And then later on, they made it so she could stretch body parts, like Mr. Fantastic or the Elongated Man or Plastic Man. But when she first got her powers, it completely messed up her body, so she couldn't she couldn't control her powers. So she would like fluctuate and her body would make weird changes, and so she couldn't be cast in roles anymore. And they were led by the Chief, who was this guy in a wheelchair, who originally was like, a stern genius, but later on got retconned to being like kind of a jerk. And, they all got together and bonded as like a family of misfits because of their shared experiences. And then later on, they got another member named Minto, whose name was Steve Dayton, a rich guy who built this helmet that gave him mental powers. And he married Elasti-Girl and joined the Doom Patrol. And then they found, Beast Boy, Garfield Logan. I made a video about his origin. I'll put a card up there if you want to, go to that video. But basically, he was a little kid with the power to change his body into any animal, any natural animal. And the Doom Patrol took him in. He became the first kid member of the team. And so that is basically that's basically Beast Boy's origin in the comics. And that's pretty much why the Doom Patrol are going to be in the the Titans series, because Beast Boy is in the Titans TV show, and the Doom Patrol is probably going to serve to help his origin or his story and how he gets introduced to the team. And I think that's cool because I like the Doom Patrol. I'm a fan of underdog characters who are more obscure. And so I've been reading a lot of Doom Patrol stories lately, the old 60s versions of the stories. And I'm excited. I'm just curious to see which members are going to put in there. Will it be the original, 4 or 5 members I just mentioned in this video? Or will it be one of the later members? The Doom Patrol's had a lot of members over the years because they've been around since the 1960s. So it could be a lot of different people. But I wouldn't be surprised if at least Elasti-Girl and Minto, Steve Dayton, are going to be in there because they're his adoptive parent, Beast Boy's adoptive parents in the comics. And so they're pretty essential to his background. But I do wonder if this could be the start of some cool things to come for the Doom Patrol, because as we've seen recently, in pop culture, any character can have their time in the sun and become big, even obscure super teams. Like the Defenders, the Suicide Squad, and the Guardians of the Galaxy originally in the comics, they weren't, major parts of DC or Marvel stories, not usually. But, the Defenders got a Netflix TV show, Suicide Squad and the Guardians of the Galaxy got major motion pictures that made hundreds of millions of dollars. And now, almost everybody's heard of those teams, or a lot more people. So if the Doom Patrol proved popular in the Titans TV show, I wonder if maybe we could see a Doom Patrol TV show, or maybe even some movies. I like that because I like the Doom Patrol, and I'm down. But anyways, they're supposed to show up in episode 5 of the series. At least that's when the script, page was numbered 105. That means season 1, episode 5. So that's when you should expect to see them show up. But anyways, that's my DC TV show or Titans update for the day. If you want to watch me make more videos about this kind of stuff, please like the video and subscribe to the channel because I like making these kinds of videos. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.